Now the final thing is to add a figure. So I'm going to put the figure about here, coming towards this tree. So he's going to be in the distance, and I'm going to use this liner brush. So it's very important to think firstly about where his head is going to be, how tall he's going to be, and his legs are not going to come far down here. So roughly about here. I could actually do figures over here, and that would be actually good too. I'm almost tempted to do that. Maybe here, but they'd be quite small. So I think a figure here would be more fun. I realise that I've got to make the figure fairly big, otherwise the perspective is going to look too great and therefore a bit strange. So here's his body. The body is the easiest part, the torso, because it's not really moving compared to the arms and the legs. The arms and the legs are the tricky bits, because really you want something like a dry brush effect, because that will give it more like a feeling of movement. And so I'm just trying to get the right mix. Okay. And once again, I should be using scrap paper, but I haven't got any. So I've spread the hairs, and now I'm going to try and flick this down, and it will do. Not great, but it will do. And here too. So try and spread the hairs again, but not too much. Use my rag. So I didn't really get quite the dry brush effect I was hoping for, but there we go. Persevere. And I want the arms to be coming out quite a bit. Hands are a bit tricky to do. Okay. And then I think I'll give him maybe a hat. There we go. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe make this coat a bit lower because it's winter time. And okay, there we go. And maybe add a dog. So I'm going to make the dog quite simple, and maybe I'll put the dog here. So I begin with the tail, and then I'm going to do the dog almost head on. I might here just do some kind of head. So you see, it's very simple shape. I don't want to do a detailed picture of a dog, just the kind of suggestion. Add a tiny bit of an ear there. So just suggesting, and maybe curve this around a little bit. So my fingers are near the tip of the brush because I need a lot of control here. And that's very watery, so I've dried the brush a bit, and I'm just soaking up some of that liquid because it's just too much. Okay, and now I'm going to do shadow. So I have to think about this a little because they're like kind of down, coming up. So, but I think what I'll do, no, they're kind of, how are they? I guess they're at the crest of the hill. So they are actually coming down the hill. So this shadow needs to be not quite that angle, but a bit more down. And if you're quick, if you make a mess, you can quickly fix it. So the dog is the easiest one to do, so I'll do its shadow first and then the man next. So get those legs. Just a kind of tapering effect. So begin in and then gradually move slightly outwards is the safest way of doing this. There we go. And then let's just quickly fill this bit in before it dries out. It looks a bit too wide, but good enough, quite effective. And if you're very quick with your tissue, you can correct this. And I could even dry it out and then wet it, let it dry I mean, then wet it and then wipe out this line here. But it's good enough. There we go. So that would be more narrow, and I might correct that later. But for this demonstration, it's fine. Let's try and, yeah. Oh, and there we go. So a lovely little snow scene with a man taking a dog for a walk in the snow. And just let's join these figures together by doing a lead. So that's a nice connecting bit, joining them together into one focal point. So of course you could do a woman if you wanted to, or even a little boy walking the dog, or even a family. So lots of choices there. So that's it, we've finished. Very, very simple painting, but I think you'll agree, looks very, very effective. So please have a go and happy painting.